Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I went out for the day yesterday and it was a snap decision. Really, I just thought, I haven't got much to do in the grub. I'm going to go out. And it was just literally a snap decision. So sort of grabbed the walking boots and the camera and set off for the day in what I could class as a little bit of a hurry, which I don't normally do. I'm a planner. I like to get ready for things and think about all what I need. And anyway, I shot off. And when I actually got to where I was going, I thought back and I thought, I've gone out without turning the circulating fans on. That means it's going to get a bit warm in here today. Now, luckily it wasn't a bright sunny day. It was hazy at best and sometimes cloudy, so I got away with it. But in addition to that, I left the door wide open. So, you know, if the sun had come out, the humidity would have been dropping like a stone because it wasn't enclosed anymore. So, major mistake. That it wouldn't have been costly, nothing would have died, but it certainly wouldn't have done the plants any good because the heat would have built up without the circulation. And in addition to that, the humidifier would have struggled badly because obviously I've got dry air coming in from the house. So I was lucky, I got away with it. So I'm not really filming anything special in here today, but it is a little bit of a change today. I'm going to rewire. Well, let me get over here and see what I'm on about. At the moment, the lower circulating fan is manual. So if I want that on, I have to turn it on. The higher oscillating fan is wired to the heater. They're both wired in together to a thermostat. Yeah. So when the heater comes on, that big circulating fan near the roof comes on as well to make sure I don't get any hot spots. Obviously with the heater coming on, that heat's going to rise, and what I don't want is it collecting near the roof. So that circulating fan moves it around. Now that's on a thermostat obviously, which is no good during the day. So during the day I have to turn the heater off and reset the thermostat to about 32, 33 degrees C so that the fan stays on. Yeah? And that's fiddly. So it's come to the time of year now where I'm going to change things round. What I will do is wire both of those circulating fans into the thermostat and take the heater out. So the thermostat will have to be programmed the other way round. At the moment it's set for heat. So I'll reset it to cooling, yeah? So that when the thermostat gets up to sort of 23 degrees, 24 degrees C, the two fans will come on. And they'll do that whether I'm here or not. So I don't make silly mistakes like yesterday. And then that'll do right through the summer until I need the heater back in again. So the heater can go away. And what I do at this time of year when the nights are still a bit cool is before I go to bed, I open the door. And then the residual heat from the house takes the chill off of out here during the night time. And that's always worked, so I've got no problems with that. So I've got a little bit of fiddly wiring to do today, a few changes on that front. As far as blooms are concerned, the wedding bell is looking exceptionally good this year, despite being a relatively tatty looking plant. This was last year's new cane. It's still actually growing, and the other new cane on it was quite stunted, but I've got, you know, there's signs of growth at the base of that one, but it's an unusual nobly type because it sort of blooms, well, what you could only say is early summer, but this is its time. This is when it blooms. Still a few buds to come, but most are out now. The infundibulum cross, all full blooms are open now. That's the best blooming I've ever had on that. I've only ever had 2 blooms prior. Now I've got 4 out all at once. And that's a nice show. I'm well pleased with that. What else is going on out here? Oh, the species Tolumnia is now open. Europhila, or just opening its first blooms. These are tiny. And without getting the tripod out, I can't get a close-up. But nonetheless, they are typical Tolumnia-shaped blooms. The only difference really is that the relationship between the sort of wide lip part at the bottom and the petals and sepals at the top are quite dramatic. Most of the hybrid Tulumnias have got a much larger top part, more in keeping and in balance with the frilly bit. But this is their shape. As I say, it is a species, the only one I've got. What else? The only other thing going on really is the Shari Baby is just opening its first bloom, basically. So that must have opened yesterday. Keeps getting tangled up with the Vanda roots, that one. And the other thing up here is that spike is still an anomaly. That's a hard word to say at this time of day. Because the spike looks like a Shari Baby spike, but the plant has got a tag in it that says Peter Comp. And I've got a feeling I may have got some plants muddled up at the repotting and splitting up stage. So I'm waiting for that to open, but that doesn't look like a Peter Comp spike to me. It looks like a Shari Baby spike. And if and when it opens, which is a fair way off at the moment, I'll be able to tell. And then if that isn't Peter Comp, then I know which one is, if you see what I mean. So that's that. So we should have the nice chocolate fragrance again coming soon, which is quite good at the moment because the fragrance is not around in here. The most fragrant blooms are going over now. The two dendrobiums up the back, the Nestor and the anosmum, they're dropping their blooms now, so there's no fragrance left on those. Those have gone. And even though the Hercoglossam's looking good, the fragrance on that is virtually non-existent. If you don't get your nose within an inch of the bloom, you can't even tell that it's slightly fragrant. So nothing to talk about that one. This is fragrant, the Sweet Memory, little Phalaenopsis, another bloom about to open here. But again, it's not what I'd call a strong fragrance. You do have to get quite close, but it is pleasant. It is well worth having, and you've got it's effectively a primary cross, and most of the ones for sale are the same cross but the other way round. And I think that's sold as Leodora or something like that. But the Sweet Memory is the same two species, but the cross is the other way round, and that gives it less yellow and more purple, basically. It's an attractive Phalaenopsis nonetheless. Lovely shaped lip, and it's classed as one of the fragrant ones, although for me I've got to get quite close before I even get a whiff of it. And I'll show you this. I think I know why. This is going to be in the dark because it's early in the day. My Dracula Bella is producing spikes left, right and centre. And virtually every time recently the buds have blasted. Now that one's blasted as well. And I know what it is. It's the relative humidity geared up to the heat. You know, Draculas like to be cool and a lot of humidity around. And of course at this time of year, although I'm keeping my humidity sort of, 65 to 70%, with the heat, it's not enough for this plant to maintain its blooms. And that's the only thing I can think of, because there's nothing else wrong. It's pushing up new growths, the leaves are okay, and it keeps pushing out spikes in succession. So all I can hope for is that we get a period of dull weather. That'll upset a lot of people, but I think that's the only way the blooms at this time of year are going to actually manage to complete and open, because they're huge blooms. But anyway, I'm getting spikes, but at the moment, as I said, the previous two buds, one blasted and one I actually broke. I actually knocked the bud and snapped it near the base of this stem, so that was my fault. But yeah, and now it looks like I've got another one blasting. But if it keeps producing the spikes, maybe one or two will open eventually. But it's geared up to the humidity with the temperature. If I had that humidity down at sort of 20-21 degrees C, those blooms I suspect would be very successful. The one that did bloom a fair time ago was in the winter, so the temperatures weren't there. So I think that's all that's wrong. Anyway, apart from my mistake yesterday, I had an enjoyable day out. And when I got home, I have to stop and think sometimes. Roger, you're not as young as you used to be. When I got home yesterday, I was exhausted. I must have walked miles and miles and miles, which on the flat would not have been a problem. But clambering up steep slopes, walking over rough ground, and all that, that took it out of me. So when I got home, I downloaded the stuff off the camera, and I thought, I'll see if I can put this video together and post it on the day it was filmed. And I just didn't make it. I just ran out of steam. I had something to eat, I had a glass of wine, sat down in the chair, and I went sound asleep. And although that was only at about 6 o'clock, I didn't wake up till nearly 9:30. So I just got out of the chair and went to bed. And boy did I ache. My calf muscles and one of my ankles that I managed to turn over in the rough ground, basically. I thought that was going to be bad because I was hobbling for a while. I managed to walk it off, and I was expecting today to be quite stiff, but today I'm okay. I'm up and running. No backache, no leg aches, and the ankle seems to be, I wouldn't say it's dead right, but it's good enough to walk about on without wincing. So I got away with it, but I think I tried to do too much in one go. I think I'd have been better off just doing one visit to one site. I'm not walking around like a route march at breakneck speed sort of thing, but nonetheless the rough ground and those steep slopes took it out of me. Not as young as I used to be, it's as simple as that. Comes to us all. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for today, and sorry about no video at all yesterday, but I put my field trip video together, so that's already posted. And I'll get this one done later today. And we're in for a quiet spell. It's Friday today. Tomorrow is a travel day. I'm picking up my daughter. Sunday is our coach trip with an early start and a late finish. So it's probably going to be a couple of days before I get round to posting anything. Sorry about that, but I'm sure you'll manage. There's plenty of other channels out there. And you can always play around on the Facebook group. There's always stuff going on there. So I suspect the next video is going to be the coach trip visit to Burnham's nursery. Obviously I'll be filming in the nursery. They've got their orchid paradise where all their specimen plants that are in bloom are on show, and the pond with the fish in and all that sort of stuff, plus the nursery itself. Although I will be doing battle with crowds of people getting in my way when I'm trying to film. But nonetheless, that will probably be the next video, which hopefully I'll be able to put that together on Monday and get that posted. And I forgot to show this because I must show this every chance I get, on the grounds I don't know how long the blooms are going to last. This is the Odontoglossum naeviem. I think it's an Oncidium nowadays, but the other spike's opening up now. And this is just, it's the shape that gets me on this, as well as the pretty spotted patterns. It's just a very attractive orchid. I mean, the blooms aren't huge by any means, but now that I've got this, I would never be without it. So even if I lost the plant for some odd reason, I'd go and get it again. It's just one I like having around. Probably, apart from my in a severe state of rescue Odontoglossum crispum, this is the only one I've got that is these colours, this colour combination, white with reddy purple spots. Now the Odontoglossum crispum is similar, but that hasn't got the frilliness. It's a very flat bloom, gorgeous bloom, that one. But the plant's in a hell of a state at the moment, but it's coming on. Where is it actually? I wonder if I can get at it. Probably not, because it'll be somewhere cooler. Come on, where have you put it? I can't see it. This is silly. This place isn't that big that you can actually lose an orchid. Where would I have put that? I'm sure I'd have put that up here, actually. But no, it's not up here. Yes, it is. It's hiding. Let's see if I can just get at it and show the state of rescue. There we go. Now I lost this apart from one bulb with a very weak new growth, which is the little growth on the left. And that's all I had. No roots, a hell of a state. It rotted basically, it got some sort of bacterial infection. But since then, it's pushed up yet another new growth, and they're staying green, and I doubt if those new growths have got roots yet, but they will eventually. And then hopefully from those new growths another one will pull on, which will grow to full size. But yeah, I haven't lost it yet, and that's another one. If I lose that one, I'll have a hell of a job to get that again. Hell of a job. But it's growing. We do have a rescue success at the moment, and hopefully it will stay there. And the Harveyanum blooms on the two little kikis, they're still looking nice. I really ought to take them off. The kikis themselves need repotting. I'm just waiting for signs of new growth at the base, which these are probably inhibiting. Yeah, there's an awful lot of orchids that when in bloom, they won't produce the new growths until the blooms are gone, and then it triggers them. But it needs a repot, and I need to get some nice strong new growths going this year if I can. But I thought we'd enjoy them, you know. Haven't seen them for a long time because I lost the mother plant. Very attractive. Unusual really, to actually have hairy petals as well as a hairy lip. Nice combination, and a lovely yellow. Anyway, that'll do for today, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.